Yeah, I love Meghan Trainor. That music will never get old. Man, I can't wait to vote in the upcoming election. Let's see what's happening in the news.
Washington now ground zero for the Ebola fear.
The Ebola crisis becoming a major election issue.
Candidates are scrambling to stake out positions. But will the fallout tip the battle for congressional control?
Someone could get off a flight and seek treatment from a witch doctor.
What the fuck? I love Fight Song. That'll never get old. Man, I can't wait for the upcoming election. Let's see what's happening in the news.
New developments on a bombshell that could reshape the 2016 race.
New emails related to the Clinton email investigation.
Bombshell announcement has rocked the presidential campaign.
Could not only make a difference in this presidential race, but also the control of the Senate.
What the fuck? Time for pop music. The Republic's on fire, Brenda. Man, I can't wait to vote in the upcoming election. Let's see what's in the
migrant caravan has captured the world's attention. The president has put the caravan on center stage.
Be a big part of the midterm election. It's going to be an election of the caravan.
What the fuck? Wait a minute. Aren't they like 1,000 miles away? Why are we freaking out about this now? Why does it always feel like some big sensational news story breaks right before it's time to vote? Oh my God, I get it now.
Yes, we are barely 2 weeks away from the midterms, and Republicans are hitting hard against the growing migrant caravan.
Now the question becomes, will this sway voters in the midterms?
There's this concept in American politics called the October surprise. And no, it is not what drag queens do on Halloween. October surprise refers to a big, unexpected event that gets tons of media coverage and sways people's votes right before an election. In 2004, it was Osama bin Laden releasing a scary video threatening the US.
It was inevitable that just before the elections there would be some kind of a message from Osama bin Laden.
The video focused the media's attention on terrorism, which ended up benefiting Bush during the election. In 2012, it was Hurricane Sandy, which gave Obama a chance to look like a leader and problem solver right before his election against Mitt Romney.
We've got our October surprise now, Chuck. Looks like it's Hurricane Sandy.
Typically, October surprise describes something unexpected, but it can also be something more calculated, when political operatives intentionally exploit a news story to distract voters and do maximum damage to their opponents. During the 2014 midterm election, it was Ebola.
We begin with the breaking news, the deadly Ebola outbreak in Africa, and tonight the first confirmed case here in America.
The story quickly became a Republican rallying cry.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got an Ebola outbreak. We need to seal the border and secure it.
We have Ebola. We have to secure the border.
And news outlets followed their lead, running weeks of sensational wall-to-wall Ebola coverage.
Are there concerns of an outbreak in the U.S.?
Should they be concerned? Is the threat only going to grow?
The ISIS of biological agents.
Are we going overboard here?
This chart shows how much airtime cable news networks devoted to Ebola. Look at the spike right in the middle of October.
It's emerged already as the most watched news event since the entire Obama presidency began.
That coverage created a vicious cycle. The more news networks talked about Ebola, the more politicians had to talk about it to seem relevant. As one Republican strategist told NPR, it's almost impossible for candidates to break into this news cycle unless they're talking about ISIS or Ebola.
It's a terrible thing to say, but fear is a heck of a motivator for voters.
Research conducted after the midterms found that in the 34 states with Senate elections, higher internet search volume for Ebola was associated with greater intentions to vote for Republican candidates. In 2016, the October surprise was Hillary Clinton's email.
Take a shot.
Weeks before the election, FBI Director James Comey sent a letter to Congress saying the FBI had found new emails, God damn it, pertinent to the investigation into Clinton's private server.
Trump is relishing Clinton's October surprise.
This is bigger than Watergate.
The party welcoming this new line of attack as Republican candidates make their closing arguments to voters.
And once again, every news network took the bait.
An October surprise unlike anything we have ever seen.
Trump has been lagging behind. Could this change anything?
The story dominated the New York Times' front page for days.
The October surprise no one saw coming.
This chart shows how much Clinton coverage was scandal-related in the weeks leading up to the election. There's a huge spike right after Comey's letter is released.
We will find out soon whether any of those new emails contain classified information.
A few days later, Comey announced it had all been a big nothing burger.
The director clearing Hillary Clinton on those new emails.
But it was too late. Look at Hillary's approval ratings in the weeks after that story broke. Now, it's the migrant caravan. After Trump began tweeting about a group of migrants traveling to the US in hopes of seeking asylum, Republicans turned the story into their closing campaign message.
The caravan is coming.
It's marching on our border.
Some say criminals among them.
You already know what happens next.
Immigration is taking center stage ahead of the midterm elections.
Trump's using the caravan as a critical midterm closing argument.
Front page after front page in the New York Times, wall-to-wall coverage on every network.
Let's talk about the caravan.
Let's talk about the caravan.
Let's talk about this caravan.
Look at how many hours have been dedicated to the story on cable news in the past few weeks alone.
Is this going to be a winning issue for your party?
I do think it's a winning issue, and I think the president's handling it perfectly.
As one Trump official told the Daily Beast, it doesn't matter if it's 100% accurate. This is the play.
It seems to me that it's playing out remarkably well for the Republicans.
You didn't say email.
This one's for me. These October surprises all follow the same formula. One, something big, scary, and vague is coming.
The Ebola crisis.
Email server issue.
The caravan.
And two, it all rests on the election. That is a sexy-ass formula. It's drama, it's narrative tension, it's CNN's wet dream. It's also complete bullshit. These stories seem really important when they're happening, but they're almost always PR stunts. Look again at the coverage of Ebola in 2014. Look at the drop-off once the election's over. It's not like the problem suddenly got fixed after the election. The number of Ebola cases in Liberia actually increased after November, but nobody cared anymore. The story had served its purpose. The same is true for the Clinton Bremail story. Close enough. Months after Trump won the White House, it's reported that he repeatedly uses an unsecured phone line for personal communication. Intelligence experts say he's definitely being listened to by Russia and China. But the story barely makes a blip on the radar, because it was never about national security. It was about winning an election. And the same thing will happen with this migrant caravan story. We know that because we've already been through this before. Earlier this year, Trump fearmongered about another migrant caravan traveling to the US.
The group was largely ignored until President Trump used them to highlight the immigration debate.
The story sparked a major media firestorm for a few days.
Are you watching that mess with the caravan?
But then it faded from public debate. Eventually, the migrants arrived and quietly began going through the normal process to apply for asylum.
All 228 people are being processed. The legal process could take months, even years.
You didn't hear about it because it wasn't election season yet.
This is a caravan that has been organized for years. They've been doing this for more than 5 years.
And the evil genius of the October surprise is that it works even if journalists realize it's a gimmick. A lot of news networks have correctly noted that the migrant caravan story is bullshit.
The president has called it an assault on the U.S. border. It is absolutely not. It's nowhere near the U.S. border.
But because Republicans can't stop talking about it, neither can they.
This has become a key Republican rallying cry. There are, quote, criminals and unknown Middle Easterners.
Criminals and unknown Middle Easterners.
Criminals and unknown Middle Easterners.
Criminals and unknown Middle Easterners mixed in with this caravan.
Strategy seems designed to scare voters by constantly repeating a false threat.
Yeah, well, it appears to be working, Brenda. The point of the October surprise isn't to warn voters about a real threat. It's to distract them for long enough to get them to vote against their own interests.
One Trump official told CNN that the immigration push is clearly working because we're talking about it and not healthcare.
Days before the caravan story blew up, Mitch McConnell pledged that Republicans would try to repeal Obamacare again if they survived the midterms. Another report revealed that the Republican tax cuts have exploded the deficit, which is now the worst it's been in 6 years. And Republicans plan to deal with that deficit by, you guessed it, cutting social programs.
There's been a bipartisan reluctance to tackle entitlement changes, Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid. Hopefully we'll get serious about this.
Those stories aren't sexy. They don't have the drama of an October surprise. But they are stories that affect millions of people's ability to survive in this country. Stories about policy differences that actually matter on election day.
Trump is talking about this because he wants to distract from the fact that they want to cut Medicare.
But this caravan is coming up. What's the Democratic Party's message about the caravan?
The truth is, there's no great defense against the October surprise strategy. Our breaking news culture is super vulnerable to last-minute, bad faith publicity stunts. But what you can do is ask, who benefits if I freak out about this? And what are they trying to hide?